Look at that. That's obscene. That's obscene. Anyway, are you ready for some good news? Okay. First up, researchers have discovered an antibody that neutralizes 98% of HIV strains. A team from the National Institutes of Health's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, that's the NIH's NIAID for you initialism lovers, discovered the antibody in an HIV-infected patient. They find the antibody, which they're calling N6, to be capable of neutralizing nearly every strain of HIV they tested, including 16 out of 20 strains that are resistant to similar antibodies. N6 is so broadly effective because it binds with HIV on areas of the viral envelope that don't vary much from strain to strain. As I often do in stories like this, I have to caution you that this research is still very new, and it will likely be some time before N6 is developed into something that will be of direct benefit to HIV-positive patients. But because of its potency, N6 could serve as the foundation for new forms of both treatment and prevention against HIV. The study is published in the journal Immunity. Next up, researchers have tested an optical clock in space for the first time. An optical clock is a type of atomic clock that uses visible light to measure time. It has the potential to be hundreds or even thousands of times more precise than current microwave atomic clocks, provided atoms oscillating in the visible range of the electromagnetic spectrum can be accurately measured, which is a challenge. If researchers can meet that challenge and build optical clocks durable enough to survive the ride into Earth orbit, they could enable more accurate GPS satellites, as well as improved orbital greenhouse gas sensors and gravity wave detectors. In April 2015, scientists from Menlo Systems sent one of their optical clocks on a 6-minute space flight. The clock was functional in microgravity and was able to be controlled from the ground. While the clock used in the experiment was a prototype that was less accurate than more conventional atomic clocks, the rocket flight proved that optical clocks can be made to survive launch and function in space, which is kind of a big deal to researchers in that field. The results of the optical clock in space experiment were recently published in the journal Optica. And finally, a new study finds that a Connecticut gun law has been effective in preventing suicide. In 1999, the state of Connecticut enacted a law allowing police to temporarily remove the guns of people determined to be potentially violent or suicidal. Researchers at Duke University School of Medicine, Yale University, and the University of Connecticut studied 762 cases of guns being removed under that law and concluded that dozens of suicides had likely been prevented. The law enables a court to determine if an individual is at high risk of violence or self-harm and order the removal of that person's guns for up to 1 year. It was introduced following a mass shooting in 1998 and was intended to help address the problem of gun violence perpetrated by people who had no criminal record or established history of violence or mental instability that would show up on a background check. Similar laws are on the books in California and Indiana, and the voters of the state of Washington recently approved their own version. This study indicates that such risk-based firearm removal laws are an effective way to prevent gun-related deaths, including gun suicides, which typically account for 1/2 to 2/3 of all gun deaths in the U.S. every year. The study is published in the journal Law and Contemporary Problems. Scientists find an antibody that's capable of neutralizing 98% of HIV strains. An optical clock is successfully tested in space for the first time, and a new study finds that targeted temporary removal of guns from at-risk people can prevent suicides. That's the good news. One last thing, folks. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please consider helping us to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.